Hi everybody, it's Laura. Thank you so much for joining me on my channel. Today I have a layout that I made using the December 2024 My Creative Scrapbook kit. If you've been following my channel, you may know that I have been trying very hard to edit and voice over a number of videos from layouts that I made a while ago, but just didn't have the opportunity to complete and post on my channel. So this is another one of those. The December kit featured a beautiful collection from 49 and Market called Evergreen Season. So that's what I'm working with right here. So I had already fussy cut out something from a piece of red checkered paper, or I guess checkered. I'm not really good with the difference between plaid and checkered and gingham, but it was one of those. And so I was thinking that I could still use the paper by cutting a large triangle to fit in one of the corners of the layout. So that's what I did. And then I was thinking that it would be nice to put some mixed media on the background. So I have a piece of smooth white cardstock. I use 120-pound cardstock, and I cover it with Liquitex gesso, which makes a nice barrier between the paper and the paint that you're going to put on it, and it makes it so that you can rework the paint and change it a little bit, layer it. I've tried working without gesso, and I know a lot of people don't like gesso, but that's just the way that I've been working for many years, and I like what you could do with a layer of gesso. So if you are interested in having a mixed media background on your layouts, I would encourage you to try it both ways and see what you like. I really like using a piece of plastic to spread the color around the background, which has been called the packaging technique. It's my favorite way of adding the color to my mixed media backgrounds. And on this background, I add two different colors of Shimmerz Paints. I use a Vibez called moss-terious green and a Spritz called olive branch. Unfortunately, I'm sorry about this, it's been so long since I made this layout, I don't know which one I'm using first or second, but I do use both of those colors. And they're kind of similar colors, but I like to use different shades of the same color. I think that it adds a nice variation to the background. So I always like to try mixing colors together and see what happens. And I also like to add more than one layer of color. So I'll put down one layer, and then after it's dry, put another layer on top. I just think it makes the color more intense. And when the color dries, it looks a little bit more faded anyway. I think that happens with all the sprays that I've used. So I think that it's important to make it intense so that it keeps some of that intensity once it's dry. So now I'm adding some splatters to the background. I really love the way splatters look on the mixed media backgrounds. I add a lot of them. So I have my big cluster with the triangle. Actually, the paper is upside down right now, so that's going to go in the upper left-hand corner, and then I'm going to put a smaller cluster in the lower right-hand corner to kind of balance out the page. Now, I realized that the filming on the last segment looked a little bit blurry. I'm so sorry about that. One of the things that I would like to do is to get an iPad and then use my iPhone so I can mirror the iPhone to my iPad. But when I tried to do that, I found that my iPad was too old and it doesn't do the mirroring that you can do now with the newer iPad. So that's something that I definitely have to invest in, because I often find that my videoing looks a little bit blurry, and I could easily fix that if I could see that before I was done recording the video. But luckily it wasn't too blurry. Sometimes the footage that I film is unwatchable, and that's always such a disappointment when that happens. So that's definitely the next thing on my list for updating my filming equipment. I definitely have to get a new iPad and maybe even a new iPhone so that I can dedicate my older iPhone to just recording videos. So hopefully I'll be able to do that fairly soon. So now the paint on the background is completely dry, and I'm adding some modeling paste. I'm using the Hobby Lobby brand, and I found that when I use that brand, I like to mix a little bit of the thicker, I think it's called heavy body acrylic paint, into the modeling paste just so that it looked a little bit more white. And I do really like the way the modeling paste looks against the green background. I think that that contrast really makes the white pop. And I love the way you can see the image of the stencil so clearly because of the contrast between the white and the green. And one thing that I wanted to mention that I've found over the years is if you want to make sure that the modeling paste doesn't pick up the color of your background, make sure that your backgrounds, the paint in your background, is completely dry before adding the modeling paste. Otherwise, you might find that the paint will kind of seep into the modeling paste. And sometimes it doesn't look so bad, but other times it's not great. So I just wanted to point that out. So I had a little area there where I didn't like the way the modeling paste turned out, so I scraped it away, and then I put a little bit more color on top, and then I went back in and I added some more modeling paste, and the image looks a little bit more clear on this second try. And then I filled in a little spot where there wasn't any modeling paste, and just going around the page, adding a little bit more in different spots. You're not going to see a lot of this. A lot of this is going to get covered up and just little bits are going to peek out. And that's just kind of the way it seems to go with mixed media, but I like the way those little touches look, so I think it's worth it to make the background have some color in it. So now I'm adding some white acrylic paint. I'm using watered down white acrylic paint. And then to make the splatter small, I'm using my scissors and tapping it against the top of the container that holds the straw, and that makes tiny splatters. And as I said earlier, I really like to add splatters to the backgrounds. So I'm adding a lot of white, and it takes a little bit of time to dry, but I think that it's worth it. I really like the effect that it gives when there are splatters. It just gives a more kind of artsy kind of look, so I do add a lot of them. And then after I add a whole bunch of white splatters, I go back again and I add even more green splatters. And I like to add the splatters at the edge of the color mainly. I mean, the splatters go all over the place, but I am trying to add them at the edge. There's something about the way they look at the edge of the larger area of color that I really like. So I always kind of aim to get the most splatters in that area. Okay, so now all the splatters are dry and I'm ready to attach my large red and black triangle to the background. First, I'm inking the edges with some Distress ink in black soot, and then I use my ATG adhesive to attach the paper down. And it's so hard sometimes to look at the other side of some of these papers because both sides are really gorgeous, and I especially feel bad when I'm using like a solid side like this and the other side has like a beautiful image on it, but that's the way it goes. That's why I buy way too much paper, because I always want to have both sides of the paper to be able to work with if I want to. So often instead of buying one piece of each paper, I'll buy two so I could use both sides. But I have found that I don't buy as many collections as I used to. When I do buy a collection, these days anyway, I will buy more of the collection. I'll buy whatever pieces that I think that I'll use, but I won't buy like every single collection that comes out that I like. I try to limit myself. And I genuinely like to work with page kits. I think it's nice to have all of the coordinated elements right in front of you so you don't have to go searching around. Because sometimes I feel like I spend more time looking for things than I do actually scrapbooking. So a page kit enables me to just sit down and get started. So I have a number of cards that are layered right on top of and behind the photo. I put a little card with poinsettias on it in the top corner. I end up removing that and using that on another page. I put a doily there instead. And then that deer was on every one of my pages before I finally found a spot for it. I think I already put out the video where I ended up using that deer, but that doesn't stay on the page. So for the cluster on the bottom, I use a couple of different embellishments. I use a chipboard poinsettia. I used a lantern, and then I used an embellishment that there were a lot of in this collection. It looks like a cross-section of a tree trunk, and then on top of it they wrote a number of sentiments, and then they added a few other little embellishments, and I really like those. So I have that in between the poinsettia and the lantern. And then I'm using a number of the dimensional flowers that come in the kit. So I have them kind of on a diagonal going across the page, and I wanted to add at least one of them to the cluster at the bottom just to kind of tie that in with everything else on the page. So I started to feel like the mixed media or the paint didn't go far enough down below the photo, so I started adding a little bit more of that. I always find it a little tricky to add paint and modeling paste when the page is already so far underway, but if I don't do it, it'll bother me, so I usually will just stop and add it, because otherwise I'll keep thinking that I need to do it or that I should have done it. And then, of course, I had to take the embellishments that were going to be in the area where I was adding paint off of that area. So now I'm back to a little bit more of a bare layout. And I'm going to change a lot of things around, probably because of that. I ended up switching things, but it doesn't look too different than it looks now. But I am really happy with the elements on the bottom, so I'm going ahead and attaching them down. I put a little bit of foam behind the sentiment that says "It's a Wonderful Life," and then everything else I'm adding a little bit of adhesive to and layering it in there the way I had it. Like I said, like the way that is looking so far. And then I also put a little bit of foam behind the sentiment that says "Merry Christmas." And there's something about the red in this collection that I just love. I think it comes from working with these high quality papers, that the colors of the papers are just really gorgeous, and the red is just so beautiful between the red in the papers and the embellishments and the flowers. I really like red. I know some people, red isn't their favorite color, but I really love red. I think it's a really great color. But I have learned over the years that even though there may be colors that I look at them when they're by themselves and they're not my favorite color, that combinations of colors are really important. So even if I think I don't like a color, if it's put with some other colors that I like, I could end up really liking it a lot. I decided that I wanted to put something underneath the photo to kind of anchor it. So I used an EK Success scalloped punch, and I cut out 2 strips. One of them is from the same paper that I used to make the big triangle, and the other one is from another pattern paper from the kit, and that is white, but there's a little bit of color to it, maybe some like flecks of black in there or something. It's not totally white. And then I slightly offset the 2 pieces so that you could see a little bit of the red behind the white, but you would mainly see the white. And then I believe that the piece that's at the top is from a branding strip. So now to the left of my photo, I still had that deer. I added a little sentiment that says "Dear Santa Claus," and then I moved the deer over to the right. It's going to eventually move off the page. I don't think it looks bad, but for some reason it didn't end up on the layout. I also added a little plaid red and green heart, and I layered that little chipboard heart on top of the "Dear Santa Claus" sentiment. And now I'm ready to attach those flowers down to the page using glue, committing to where I've put them. And then I wanted to embellish them a little bit. So I have a whole bunch of die cut black pine branches. A couple of years ago, I die cut out pine branches in a whole bunch of different colors. So I had a bunch on hand, and I was thinking that the black would go well with the colors that are already on the page. So I added a number of those and tucked them into the clusters. I find that if I'm really not in the mood to scrapbook for whatever reason, usually it's because I'm really tired, but I don't want to go to sleep and I want to do something, I will usually die cut things like branches and leaves and things that I commonly use so that I'll have them ready for situations like this. Because it can sometimes take a really long time to cut out a lot of something if you want to use something multiple times on a layout, especially if you have just one die to cut that same shape out with. So this is something that I like to do just so that I could have some of these die cuts on hand. Next, I'm adding some self-adhesive pearls to the page. I added a medium-sized pearl in each section of the large scalloped piece that I put underneath the photo. And then I wanted to add a few more smaller ones in a couple of different spots. I put one on the heart to the left of the photo, and then I also put some on the sentiment that says "Merry Christmas." Another finishing touch that I love to add to my layouts is photo corners. I forgot to mention that I added some photo corners. I used a pattern paper that was in the kit, and then I also used my EK Success photo corner punch, which I use all the time. I punched out some corners. I inked the edges with the black soot, and then I used a small red self-adhesive pearl on each of those photo corners. And then what I'm doing now is I'm changing the centers of all the flowers to be the same. I wanted them all to be gold. So I took some washi tape and I covered up the flowers to protect them. And then I added some gold paint to each of the centers that wasn't already gold. And the gold paint that I use here is a Prima Art Alchemy Metallique acrylic paint. And the color is Ancient Coin. And then I wanted to add some touches of white to look like snow to the edge of each of those pine branches. So I didn't think to do this earlier. It would have been a lot easier. but I added a product called Snow Tex, and I'm painting that on with a small brush. I either took the die cuts off of the layout and added the Snow Tex, or I put a piece of paper in between the die cut and the background so that I didn't get the Snow Tex everywhere. And I'm thinking you can probably use white acrylic paint to create almost the same look. But I had some Snow Tex. I found it on a clearance, probably in Joann's, and I thought, let me give this a try. But the first time I bought it, it was more of an iridescent finish, and I think that that's just another type of Snow Tex. And then I saw this Snow Tex and I grabbed it, and I like it, but it's just not as shiny. I'm always looking for shiny. I really like shiny a lot. So I mentioned in one of my other videos from this same kit that I like to add little touches of white to the flowers, but I don't like to go too crazy because I find that red flowers don't look great when I've added a lot of white paint to them in the past. So I just added a few touches of white paint just along the edges, just to give them a little bit of a highlight. So that area underneath the photo didn't have any modeling paste. I added more of the paint, but I didn't add any modeling paste, so I decided to go back in and add a little bit of modeling paste just to make sure that it looked the same as the other parts of the layout. And then I wanted to put something in between the big red triangle and the background just to kind of define that line a little bit more. So I decided to use that same white paper that I used to make the big scallop under the photo and use a different paper punch that's a smaller scallop. That way it would kind of go along with the bigger scallop, but it wouldn't be exactly the same. And that's a Fiskars punch. I've had that for many, many years. So I cut a very thin strip of that and I tucked it underneath the triangle just so there would be, like I said, a little border, but nothing super noticeable. I decided to add this little green bow to the left-hand side of my photo, so I inked the edges of that. And then I wanted to add a title. I decided on this die-cut title, and this was die-cut from an Elizabeth Crafts Design die that I had in my stash. And I used some embossing powder on that title to make it sparkly. So that's the end of this process video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate every single one of you who've watched it, especially to this point. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I'm going to continue editing and voicing over these older videos and getting them up on my channel. I have one more from the December kit to post, and then I'll start working on the older ones. So thank you once again for watching, everybody. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I'll be back with a new video very soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.